I used to think that if I kept my umbrella low enough on rainy days, I wouldn't see anything I wasn't supposed to see. I was wrong. The worst things don't need you to look up. I lived in the suburbs outside Portland, Oregon. That year, during the rainy season, my family had just moved farther out near the edge of town. Every day after school, I had to walk behind Willow Creek Apartments to catch the Route 38 county bus home. It wasn't one of those city buses that came every few minutes. Route 38 barely ran in the evening. If I missed the last bus, I had to call my dad and wait for him to pick me up. The problem was the shortcut. To get from school to the bus stop, I had to pass through a narrow alley behind Willow Creek Apartments. The alley ran between the back walls of old apartment buildings. Most windows had dirty blinds pulled halfway down. Window AC units dripped rainwater onto the concrete. The dumpsters always smelled damp and sour. And when it rained, the drops hit the metal awnings so loudly that it sounded like someone was knocking above me, again and again. 2 weeks earlier, someone had died there. People said he was a man who lived in one of the apartments. He had serious mental problems, and the police called it an accidental fall. But at school, everyone had a different version. They said he didn't land in the parking lot. They said he landed in that alley. The same alley I had to walk through every day. I know it sounds stupid, but after that, every time I stepped into that place, I thought about something I had heard when I was younger. People who die by accident stay near the spot where it happened, and they repeat their last moment over and over again. So, I developed a habit. Whenever I entered the alley, I lowered my umbrella as far as I could. That way, I couldn't see the windows above me. I couldn't see the dark balconies. And if something was falling from above, at least I wouldn't see it coming. Most days I rushed through as fast as I could, except that day. That afternoon, Mr. Warren kept us late to finish a lab report. By the time I left school, it was almost dark. The rain was heavier than usual, and the streetlights were just blurry yellow smears in the storm. I checked my phone. I had 10 minutes before the last Route 38 bus. I hurried toward the stop, but the second I entered the alley, I had to slow down. The pavement was slick with puddles and mud. My shoes slipped once, and I almost fell. So I kept my head down and moved carefully, one step at a time. I tried to distract myself by thinking about a comedy I had watched a few nights earlier. It didn't work. The rain was too loud. The metal awnings kept banging. Bang, bang, bang. Like something was hitting them from above. Then, bam. Something slapped the top of my umbrella. I froze. A second later, I heard a quiet laugh behind me. It was a strange laugh, like someone was trying to hold it in, but couldn't. I spun around. A person was standing behind me in the rain, holding an umbrella. For 1 second, I nearly screamed. Then the streetlight flickered, and I saw his face. It was Tyler. Tyler was the most annoying guy in my class. He loved pranks, fake spiders in backpacks, jumping out from behind lockers, stuff like that. I tightened my grip on my umbrella handle. "What is wrong with you? Why are you following me?" Tyler frowned. "I'm not. I just couldn't see the sidewalk, so I followed behind you." "You never take this way." "I'm going to my cousin's place tonight." He rolled his eyes. Then he stepped around me and walked quickly toward the far end of the alley. I stood there for a moment, still uncomfortable. That laugh had to be Tyler. It had to be. But knowing someone else was ahead of me made the alley feel a little less terrifying. I kept moving and hurried to the bus stop. By the time I got there, the last bus had already left. Its red taillights blurred through the rain, then disappeared around the corner. I called my dad and asked him to pick me up. The stop was isolated. On one side was an empty parking lot. Beyond that was a dark line of trees. Rain poured off the shelter roof, and the concrete underneath was covered in a shallow layer of water. I crouched under the sign, held my umbrella low, and waited. Then I heard the laugh again. Quiet, close. I snapped my head up and looked around. No one was there. The parking lot was empty. The road was empty. There were no footsteps, no shadows, nothing but rain hammering against my umbrella. I told myself I imagined it. Maybe it was the wind. Maybe it was water dripping from the shelter. Maybe I was just scared. Then the laugh came again. This time, it was right beside my ear. I couldn't move. Not because I didn't want to, because my body felt locked in place, like every muscle had frozen. Slowly, I lowered my eyes to the puddle at my feet. The streetlight reflected on the water, and I saw myself in it. I was crouched under the bus stop sign, umbrella pulled low, shoulders tight, barely breathing. Then I saw another reflection. Something was on top of my umbrella. A person was lying across it. His body was pressed flat against the fabric, his arms and legs bent at angles that didn't look possible. His soaked face hung upside down, almost touching the top of my head. He wasn't looking at the real me. He was looking at me through the reflection in the puddle. Then his mouth slowly opened into a grin, and he laughed again,